The crowd at the Maracana barely had time to settle before a different kind of story began to write itself on the turf. Not the old script of familiar stars and recycled headlines, but a new chapter where a Barcelona winger stepped forward and insisted on being heard. Under Carlo Ancelotti's fresh stewardship, Brazil's lineup felt like an experiment with ambition, seasoned fragments of the past mixed with sharp, hungry newcomers, and at the centre of it all, Raphinha moved like someone determined to be more than a flash on the wing. From the first whistle, his intent was obvious: quick feet, urgent runs, a constant search for angles, and it wasn't long before his influence left a visible mark. In the 37th minute, he whipped in a low cross that a Chile goalkeeper parried. The ball ricocheted into danger, and Estevão Willian reacted quickest to bury the rebound and break the deadlock. It was a small sequence, but it captured everything. Raphinha's timing, his willingness to test setups, and the clinical finish that followed. That opening goal set the tone for a 3-0 victory that would later include strikes from Lucas Paquetá and Bruno Guimaraes, but the memory that clung to the night was of movement initiative. The kind of work that doesn't always show up in simple stat lines, but that changes matches all the same. Raphinha's night stretched almost to the final whistle. He logged 79 minutes of dogged pressing, overlapping sprints, and clever combinations before Richarlison took his place, and even then his imprint remained on Brazil's rhythm and tempo. Observers and pundits have been passing the selection choices since Ancelotti took the job. Questions about who was left out, whispers about club ties, debates about travel and rest, but what came through in the performance was clear. This wasn't about favouritism on paper. It was about what the coach wanted on the pitch. Ancelotti has always been a manager who values balance and intelligent movement, and in Raphinha he appears to have found a player ready to accept those demands, someone who presses, who links, and who volunteers for the dirty work as readily as the spectacular. Tactically, Raphinha's strengths were textbook. He stretched Chile's backline by pinching inside and then exploding back to the flank. He showed an ability to deliver dangerous set-piece balls, and his interplay with the midfield created pockets for Paquetá and Bruno to exploit. When a team can draw defenders wide and still produce inside danger, it reveals a sophistication that goes beyond individual brilliance. This match is also a primer for what may come over the next year as the 2026 World Cup looms. Coaches, selectors and opponents will watch footage of that cross, the pressing triggers and the moments of link-up play. They will ask whether this is the beginning of a permanent role or a promising outburst to be tested again. For Raphinha, the stakes are simple and familiar to any player with World Cup ambition. Perform repeatedly and earn the right to be called indispensable. For Ancelotti, the picture is larger. Can the system he builds around players like Raphinha compete with traditional Brazilian tropes while introducing structure and tactical intelligence? That tension between heritage and innovation is compelling because Brazil's identity has always been both fluid and fiercely defended. Tonight's 3-0 scoreline offered more than just goals. It supplied a hint that Ancelotti's newer ideas can be married to Brazil's relentless attacking instinct. Whether this partnership will bloom into a defining era or remain a bright, isolated performance is the question that will follow fans and analysts across the months ahead. For now, though, the narrative is simple. A Barcelona winger arrived wearing the yellow shirt and left a different kind of signature, one of leadership, industry, and an appetite for responsibility. As cameras fade and highlight reels loop that decisive cross, the biggest takeaway is not a stat but an image. Raphinha bent forward driving the play, eyes sharp, demanding the ball again. A player whose rise under Ancelotti might be the signal of a new Brazil preparing quietly, confidently. What comes next?